What's up guys? Today we're going to be checking out 2004's Saw on 4K Blu-ray. This is not a review on the movie itself, I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on the video and the audio quality. Before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you're into new movies and home theater, be sure to tap the subscribe button for new weekly videos. Now let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot on 35mm. It's got a 4K DI, it's rated R. Runtime is 103 minutes, and the aspect ratio is 185:1, so there are no black bars. Right off the bat, this is a really dark movie, and it's a really grainy movie. So if you're a grain hater, you're not going to like this one at all. I found in comparing this to the old Blu-ray that the grain is less blotchy and noisy and tighter overall. It's still heavy on the grain, but I do feel it adds to the gritty nature of the movie. So when a scene takes place in the bathroom, everything gives off a more grungy vibe. And with the added 4K resolution, all the dirt and grime and rust does come through more clearly than the softer, blurrier Blu-ray. I don't think it's leaps and bounds better detail-wise, but if you were to go back and forth, you'd see that the 4K is indeed sharper. I thought the HDR deepened black levels, but I did notice in the very darkest parts of the picture that there wasn't much detail there. And like I said, this is a very dark movie. Still, black levels do up the contrast between the brighter parts of the image, which does make the image pop a bit more. There isn't much in the way of crazy peak highlights, but things like lights and camera flashes will grab your attention since the movie is so dimly lit. I thought the color palette seemed more natural and a touch less saturated over the older Blu-ray, which I thought was warmer. Of course, there isn't a ton of crazy HDR colors, but what we do get does look pleasing.
I wouldn't lie to you.
Audio gets a fresh new Dolby Atmos mix, and as far as surround activity in the lower and the high channels, this is one busy sounding remix. Jumping into the Dolby Atmos viewer, right from the opening credits, you're going to be surrounded in all directions with the sound of water, making it feel like you're just about to come out of the bathtub. Also in Chapter 1, you'll hear Wesley in the back speakers talking right before the lights go on, which you can see as that single yellow ball. Since this scene does take place in the bathroom, you can also hear the water from the sewage move above your head. If it's your first time seeing this, you might not know why you're hearing water, so spoiler alert, that's why. Again, every time there's a scene that takes place in the bathroom, there are sound effects that are swirling in every channel. Well, it's a mix of effects and music at times. The other notable surround moment happens in Chapter 8. Here you're going to hear different voices move throughout different speakers, and if you've got top fronts, you'll hear Murtaugh's voice pan from top left over to top right. This part is probably the most distinct surround moment in the movie. Most of it is just ambiance and some music that extends to the surrounds and the high channels. As for bass response, I didn't find it anything special or anything I thought was worthy enough for me to write down, but soundstage was spacious when it had to be and more closed in when it had to be, and dialogue always came through cleanly in the center channel. So for audio, I'm going to give it an 8.8. This is a nicely done mix that actually has objects that move through every speaker, unlike Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is basically a static mix. But that's not surprising though. Now, although the mix is pretty active, like I mentioned before, it's mostly light ambiance. There's nothing real attention-grabbing except for the couple things I spoke about earlier. It does broaden the soundstage and does place you in these environments you're seeing on screen. In bass response, I didn't think it was anything special. For video, I'm going to go with an 8. This is a nice improvement over the older Blu-ray. There's a slight increase in sharpness and the image is less noisy and black levels are less blotchy. It's still got some heavy grain and the color palette did look more natural as well. I suppose if you're a fan of these movies, then this is clearly the best version out there to get. It might not be a massive visual upgrade, but I think the audio is worth it if you've got a halfway decent surround setup. So tell us your thoughts on Saw on 4K Blu-ray. Did you think it was a bigger upgrade visually or audibly? Leave a comment and let us know. Now if you want to grab this disc, I'll leave some links for it down below in the video's description. As always guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you want to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again in the next video.